February 20, 1945. Dawn breaks over the black sands of Iwo Jima, a volcanic speck in the Pacific where the air hangs heavy with the acrid scent of sulfur and the distant thunder of naval guns echoes like a relentless heartbeat. Amid the haze of artillery smoke, the low growl of diesel engines rises, and hulking shadows emerge from the landing craft, American M4A3 Sherman tanks, their turrets modified with nozzles that promise not bullets, but liquid fire. The ground trembles under their tracks as they churn forward, toward the jagged ridges honeycombed with Japanese defenses, where hidden eyes watch in grim anticipation. This moment on Iwo Jima marked a pivotal escalation in the Pacific War, an island fortress just 750 miles from Tokyo, coveted for its airfields that could serve as emergency landing strips for B-29 bombers raiding the Japanese homeland. The United States, having island-hopped across the ocean since Guadalcanal in 1942, now faced one of its bloodiest challenges. Under General Tadamichi Kuribashi, 21,000 Japanese troops had transformed the 8-square-mile atoll into a labyrinth of death. 11 miles of underground tunnels, over 1,500 pillboxes, bunkers, and blockhouses, all reinforced with concrete and camouflaged amid the sulfurous terrain. For a year, they burrowed deep, impervious to the 70 days of pre-invasion bombing that dropped 6,800 tons of explosives and the naval barrage of 22,000 shells. The island's capture was essential to shorten the war, but it would demand a ferocious toll, with American planners estimating a swift 5-day victory that stretched into 36 grueling days of combat. In the minds of the Japanese defenders, steeped in the code of Bushido and the imperial propaganda of invincibility, this battle was to be a testament to their unyielding spirit. They envisioned holding the line through sheer willpower, emerging from their caves to repel the invaders with bayonets, grenades, and suicidal charges, turning the beaches into a graveyard of American resolve. Whispers among the troops spoke of the enemy's material wealth as a weakness, a sign of softness that their disciplined austerity would overcome. Yet as the flame tanks rumbled ashore on the second day, reality ignited in horror. What they encountered was not the anticipated horde of infantrymen vulnerable to ambush, but mechanized infernos that belched napalm-thickened fuel up to 150 yards, scorching everything in their path. The 8 modified Shermans, dubbed Zippo tanks for the resemblance to lighters, or Ronson, after the cigarette lighter slogan, "Lights first every time," carried 300 gallons of flammable mixture each, dousing positions with 10,000 gallons daily across the island. Historical records from the U.S. Marine Corps detailed the tank's devastating impact. On February 20, as the 4th and 5th Marine Divisions pushed inland, the flame tanks targeted Mount Suribachi's base, where Japanese machine guns chattered from hidden slits. One after-action report from the 1st Marine Division described the effect, the one weapon that caused the Japs to leave their caves and rock crevices and run. Defenders who had withstood bombs and shells in their fortified holes now fled into the open, silhouetted against the flames, only to be cut down by accompanying riflemen. Captain Frank C. Caldwell, commanding a company in the 26th Marines, later reflected in his unit's history. In my view, it was the flame tank more than any other supporting arm that won this battle. Data underscores this. By March 26th, when the island fell, American forces had suffered 6,821 killed and 19,217 wounded, while nearly all 21,000 Japanese perished, with only 216 taken prisoner. The tanks cleared paths through defenses that artillery could not breach, flaming out spider holes in tunnel entrances, forcing desperate banzai charges or self-immolation rather than surrender. Amid this carnage, a simple object emerged as a quiet counterpoint to the destruction. The humble chocolate bar from American sea rations, a foil-wrapped symbol of the abundance that fueled the Allied machine. Carried in every Marine's pack, these bars, part of daily allotments that included canned meats, biscuits, and even chewing gum, represented the industrial might of a nation where factories churned out not just weapons, but sustenance in staggering quantities. Over 1 billion units of sea rations were produced during the war, ensuring troops remained nourished even in hellish conditions.
For the Japanese, accustomed to meager rice balls and the ethos of endurance through scarcity, encountering these discarded or captured bars in overrun positions stirred unspoken awe, a tangible glimpse of the enemy's inexhaustible resources.
The confrontation shattered illusions. Japanese troops, indoctrinated to view Americans as decadent and weak-willed, faced a technological onslaught that exposed the fragility of their ideology. Diaries recovered from the dead, such as those of soldiers under Kuribayashi, reveal a shift from defiant resolve to despair. One entry lamented the devil's fire that consumed comrades alive, forcing a reevaluation of their emperor's divine mandate. Those few captured, often wounded and dragged from burning caves, experienced a deeper transformation in POW camps. Transported to facilities like those on Guam or Hawaii, they anticipated torture or starvation, only to be met with medical care and meals that dwarfed their own rations. Accounts from interrogators note prisoners' wide-eyed reactions to the chocolate bars offered, alongside hot coffee and bread, items that symbolized not just caloric wealth, but a democratic ethos, where even the lowest soldier ate like a king. One captured officer, as recorded in U.S. intelligence reports, confessed during debriefing, "We were told you were barbarians, but your food, it is like from another world." This exposure eroded the Bushido facade. By war's end, over 5,000 Japanese POWs in American hands reported shifts in perception, viewing their defeat not as a failure of spirit, but as overwhelmed by a system of abundance born from freedom. As the flames subsided on Iwo Jima, the chocolate bar lingered in memory, a small emblem of the vast American cornucopia that extended from factories to foxholes. It whispered of a land where innovation and plenty intertwined, where democracy's promise yielded not only tanks of fire, but rations that sustained the fight. In the epilogue of this inferno, one discerns a profound truth. Freedom fosters abundance, turning the tide against tyranny's barren resolve, illuminating that true strength lies not in sacrifice alone, but in the shared prosperity that endures beyond the blaze.